Good morning, students. We are again here with a new chapter Kingdoms, Kings, and an Early Republic. One or two topics we are already completed in our live class. Now, today our topic is taxes. We have already know that Janpada and Mahajanpada now expanded. Now, when Janpada changed into Mahajanpada, the major change that we can see in that time, that is they make the forts and big buildings, right? And the next thing, from there they can improve their kingdom, because in that time you can see our whole country is divided into 16 janpadas, mahajanpadas, right? 16 Mahajanpadas. So they know they want the money for the purpose to grow their Janpada. How they collect the money, how they gain the money. So that is major important part of this, that is called taxes, right? So today we are going to learn about the taxes, which type of taxes they are having in that time. As the rulers of the Mahajanpadas were building huge forts, maintaining big armies, they need more resources and they needed official to call these. So instead of depending on occasional gift brought by people, as in the case of Raja of the Janpada, that we know that during the Janpada time, whatever people give to the king, they just accept it. But now they forced some taxes on the people, right? That is regular also. Means every month they have to pay something for the king, right? The first tax on this way, the tax on the crops, because in that time you know that most of the people are the farmers. This was because most of the people are farmers. Usually the taxes was fixed. Means if you have 60-acre land, you have to pay 6%, right? Of was produced. Means if you gain 60 kg of the, so 10 kg you have to pay to the king. This was known as the bhag or a share. भाग और शेयर मीन्स इसको दो नाम दिए गए, इसको आप शेयर भी कह सकते हैं एंड वी कैन से भाग ऑल्सो. Another tax was on the craft person. These could be in form of labor. For example, a weaver or a smith may have had to work for a day every month for the king. Means the king says that whatever work you are doing, you can do whole month. You cannot pay anything to me. But one day in a month, you can come to my kingdom in my palace and you have to work for me. Whatever king want, they have to work for him. Like a goldsmith can make a jewelry, or ironsmith can make something from by iron, or the weaver can weave some clothes, a tailor can stitch some cloth for the king. In this way, they have to pay the taxes, right? Now, the third category of the tax is for the herders. Were also expected to taxes in form of animal or animal produce. Means herders, those who are keeping animals with them, right? Maybe they have 100 or 200 cow, buffalo or goat. So in that way they can give some because animals are producing naturally, right? So in that way they can give some animals to the king, or produce means one day production of the milk they can give to the king. In that way they can pay the taxes, right? There were also taxes on goods that were bought and sold through trade. Whatever trades people are doing, so they have to pay the taxes for that also. And the last tax is hunters and gatherers also had to provide forest produce to the Raja or to the king. Means hunters gatherers are moving continuously one forest to another forest, and they collected the things from the forest, like honey, like wax, like firewood. So in that way they can give their one day earning to the king. In that way king collect the taxes and manage the things of the kingdom. So people are also not frustrated and they easily pay the taxes to the king. This is a nice system during the Mahajanpadas. After that, there will be so many changes and so many differences also coming after some time. But this was the good practice in that time. Hope you people understand. Thank you and have a nice day.